Coastal Love and Decor. Good afternoon. I apologize for not getting this completed yesterday, but I couldn't even work in this room. I had stuff everywhere, so I had to get it all cleaned up before I do part 2 of making this clock. Okay, so this is sat overnight. Well, actually 2 nights. Okay, now you can drill your hole before you even start your piece for your clock. I prefer not to for this piece, only because I didn't want no resin. Yeah, I could have taped it up, but it's just as easy. I have my husband drill it for me, and it works out great. I usually drill it the very next day while it's still somewhat soft, you know, not completely cured, because I believe it takes about 72 hours for almost a full cure. Okay, so with me letting you know that, you can drill the hole and then go through all the steps that I showed you in part 1. Okay, now I measure off. This is an 8-inch clock, so I take a piece of tape and I just stick it at 4 inches, and this kind of tells me where the center of my clock's going to be. You also have to take into consideration the length of your hands if you are putting embellishments on. So my hands are going to be 2.5 inches, so I have to make sure that I have a 2.5 inch clearance for anything that I put on here. And then what I normally do is I just take my tape measure. So here's my point here, and then I just kind of follow along a little bit just to see if I'm going to clear. Okay, now I have all my shells. I already laid it out so that you didn't have to sit here and watch me figure it out what I'm going to do. Sometimes that takes me a while, but I think I've said this in other videos. If I was like putting my shells on, I could pour on top of it and I could be done with it. But on my clocks that I've been doing, I put them on top of the resin. So that's another choice for you to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is for newbies. This is what I'm explaining all this for the reason I'm explaining everything. Okay, suppose the next day you came and there was a bubble or something in here that you didn't catch. You can take 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm actually going to take this tape off right now. You can take 80 grit sandpaper and just, you know, scratch it out, rub it out, sand it out. I'll actually just sand this whole piece real quickly. You do not have to worry about any scratches showing once the next layer of resin is poured. You never see anything. So if there's a little mistake, you can actually fix it. So now I'm going to take my alcohol, and again, it's 91% or higher, and I'm going to clean this off. I didn't really have to sand it because there's no bubbles, there's no indentations, it's all good. So I'm going to just wipe that off, let that dry. Okay, now the next step is I'm going to pour my resin. What I'm going to do is put this video on pause. I'm going to mix my resin for 5 minutes. You already seen me do that in part 1. You don't need to see me do that in part 2. So I'm going to pause this video and mix the resin. But the other thing before I pause, after I was telling you, I kind of laid out my shells. So what you do, this is what I do. You don't have to. Oh, I need a drink of water. You don't have to do this. Again, if you're going to lay your shells out and then pour and be done, then don't do this part. But I don't want to mess around with resin and moving my shells and everything and deciding. So what I do is I took a picture, and this is how the bottom's going to be on here. I take a picture of it, and after I pour my resin, then I use this to follow by. It doesn't always come out that way, but it gives me something to look at so I know what I'm doing, so I don't have to keep messing with the resin. Okay, what we're going to be putting on there is seashells, some glass, a pearl, mini seashells, and I think that's it. And starfish. So I'm going to pause this, and I'll be back in a few minutes after I mix the resin. I'll be mixing 2 ounces of resin for my top coat, and I will be mixing some white to add another wave in here. So I'll be back in a few. Okay, I'm back. So I got my resin stirred, made my white. Okay. What else? I wanted to tell you, also when I was lining up my shells, these are the gold half pearls that I put in the 12, 3, 6, and 9. I almost forgot. I lay one there so I don't cover up that area. I kind of know where it's going now, so I got these. There's different sizes for different size clocks. I got these off of Amazon. Now here's a large clock, so that I finished. I still have to have my husband drill this one and put my dots on. I think the dots look better than the numbers on some of these, but it's to each his own. Okay, let's get this started. All right, so we're ready to go. So I'm just going to pour my resin all over this. Now the first layer took two ounces. The second layer I'm putting 2 ounces on. And like I said, you don't have to do the second. I do. I think it looks much nicer. That's just my opinion. All right, so I'm just going to take my fingers and just move it all over the piece. And I already checked to make sure that this was level. Okay, and make sure I get along the edge. And then I'm going to go around the side and make sure I get all of that as well. Because remember, I told you there's just like a little section of wood that I leave exposed. Okay. And that looks pretty good. I'm good with that. Okay, so I'm going to take my heat gun to this. I'm going to just make sure all my ends are nice. Just like so. Just run my finger around it. I'll probably be running my finger around it one more time. All right, I'm just wipe my hands off here a little bit before I grab my torch. And I want to add one more wave in here. Now, I told you, I think in part 1, I like to wait like 10-15 minutes before I do it. But The only reason why I'm not doing it now, if I decide to put maybe one up here, I'll wait the 10-15 minutes. But down in here, since I'm going to be adding my embellishments, I guess I could wait altogether, but I'm not going to wait. I want to get this going. All right. So let me grab my torch here. And I just use a small torch. You can get it off of Amazon. And I'm just going to heat this up a little bit. Help get out any bubbles. Okay. So, I think I'm going to come right in here. So I'm going to stir my top cell white. And I'm going to just go, make sure you go over the edge. I think that's what I'm going to do right there. I'm going to have this come here this way a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to take my torch again, and I'm going to go over that white area. And then I'm going to get my heat gun, and I'm going to use high heat, and I'm going to put it on low. And I'm just going to heat the white up a little bit, and then I'm going to start blowing it out. And then you take it out as far as you want, or as short as you want. And I think I'm going to just let that go. I think I am happy with that. And I am going to take my torch over it again. And you can see it selling here. Okay. So I'm going to take my fingers around the edge, and then I'm going to start putting my embellishments on. So since I took the heat gun to this, I just want to smooth out the edge one last time. And that's good. Okay. So I'm good with that. So I'm going to take off my one glove, and this is where I get my photo, and I start. So my starfish, I'm going to put right about, sometimes it's hard to tell. I do want to put another white line in here, so I will wait. I want another kind of thick white line, but I will wait probably 15 minutes to run that across, because I'm not going to blow it out. And I'm good with all the wave action up here. I'm good with this. All right, so I'm going to lay this here. And again, I'm going to put it as far to the edge as I can. With larger clocks, you have more options, but this is a smaller one. So you have to visualize where your gold bead would be, which would be right there when you're doing it. And then we're going to take, let's see, which one do I want to take? This one. We're going to take the shell here. And actually, I'm going to put a little dab of clear on this, because it's going to be sitting right on top of this starfish. So I just want a little dab on the starfish. And we're gonna just drop it there. I think I need to move it, right? Pretty much. Right in there. That's good. And then I'm taking this one and putting it down along here. Like so. Okay, let me go to the other side. I'll be adding small shells and some glass in, but let me get to this side. So I have this piece here. So I kind of have it down in here like so. And then this longer one here. Can't think of the name of what this is. So I think that'll go right there. Yes, right there. And then, let's see, I got that one going. And I have this one. Like I said, I'm just going by my picture. It just makes it easier. I mean, if I would stick this here and I don't like it, it's going to end up being a mess. So that's why I do it this way. It's just a little shortcut, little trick. Now let me get a toothpick, because I'm going to move this against this one like so. There we go. And then the one I'm putting the pearl in, this is going right here, right in there like so. And I'm going to push that in a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little drop in there for my pearl that I'm going to drop in there. And there you go there. Oh, don't go nowhere. There we go. Okay, so basically the larger shells that I'm putting on are on here. So now I'm going to take little shells and drop them. So I don't have that tape there, but when I was doing it, where's my tape? So pretending that the resin isn't on here and you had that tape there, this is where I would take it and I would just go around like this to make sure it cleared the 2.5, that it wouldn't hit anything. Because if you have that happen, you're kind of screwed, if you know what I mean. You're not going to be able to take the shell off. So just make sure before you do your resin part that you check for your hands. And you measure from the center of the hands out, not from end to end for your size. Just an FYI. I've been learning a lot. My husband does the clocks. So, all right, so I'm going to drop one in here. And then what else do I have? I have a couple in here. Let's put one up in here. And I think I want one in here. Right there. Let me push that in a little. And that's looking good. All right, let me get these. And I actually didn't have much going on up here. Doesn't mean I might not change it, but I might start adding my glass next. Let me look here. I am going to put a little shell up here though. That's what I'm saying. At least you have your photo to put your big pieces, and then you can kind of do your own thing. I think I'm going to put my glass next before I drop these little ones. that's what I'm gonna do. So I've got this clear glass, but it has a blue hue to it. I love this. This is my favorite glass. You don't have to use clear. You can use whatever color you want on your pieces. So I'm going to just start adding a few pieces on my, and that just ran down. It just fell off. I don't have a glove on, so make sure, put a piece there. And then I'm just going to put a couple pieces up here. I can't use tweezers, guys. It'd take me forever. I might lose a couple pieces of glass off the side. I'd rather do that than use tweezers. I just don't like them. All right, let's put some glass in here. And then do a little bit. It just gives it a little bit more sparkle. Let me get some of these shells. I'm gonna put another shell here. Put one right here. Now, I'm visualizing, let me see if I have to move this, where my middle is gonna be. I'm gonna turn this just a smidgen, which I shouldn't be doing. Okay, so I'm gonna say right there is where my gold dot's gonna go. So I know I gotta keep the glass out of there. I don't want it sitting on top of the glass. So I'm just gonna drop some pieces in here. Kind of make it look like a little bit of a water line. A little water coming over, or whatever you want it to be. All right, then I'm going to take it up around. Up in here. Now, if you don't like where you put it, yes, obviously I would get tweezers. And I'm going to have it come up around the shells. Just like that. A couple more in here. Let's see a few here. Because I still want to drop in some small shells. I want this raised up just a little, not much. Let's see. Move that. Move that. I keep dropping it. Let's see. A little bit more here. And again, if you were pouring your resin over all of this, you could lay this all out and then pour your resin over it. And let's see, anywhere else I'd like some more. Some here, some in here. And saying the gold dot goes there, so let me just put a few pieces there. It's caught in between my fingers. Okay, so now I'm going to take, do I have any pieces laying? No. So now I'm just going to take some small shells and I'm kind of going to just drop them in there. Just make it look like a, okay, so my bead would be here, so you kind of want to watch. Otherwise, you won't be able to put your bead on straight. Let's put one in here, one up in there. Let's just stick one in there. Now, I'm just going to push these in and make sure they're in on the resin, since I'm not pouring resin on top of it. Maybe just a few more tiny pieces. Just, let's see. Oh, here's a piece here. Let's see. Put one right there. And let's see. This is how I do it, guys. I'm sorry if it takes so long, but this is how I work. All right. So this goes here. So I could do maybe a couple more shells, like one right there. And let's see, right there. Whoop, I stuck my finger in it. Well, my glove finger, but all right. Yes, I could put this bead on now, but in the event that once my husband drills this, if this is off a smidgen, then I can line the clock up to look exactly the way it's supposed to. So that is why I don't put these on. I use B7000 to glue these on. So just a little FYI there. Yeah, let's just want it to look just like a little scattering. Actually, I think this is looking pretty good. Maybe, I'm still wondering if I need to get some more around this. This is what's bugging me. Sometimes it's hard to tell. So if I got that there, I think I need something in there. Something tiny. Let's see what I got here. Let's put something right here. I think I'm good with this. And my gold bead will go here. And the thing is, tomorrow, or after we drill the hole for the clock part, and then I put the dots on, if I think it needs something else, I can take UV resin and put it on there to attach it. So I'm just going to leave that go. And then I am going to take my heat gun and, not my heat gun, my torch and torches in case there's any bubbles. Lightly go over it. Okay. I'm really happy with this. I wasn't happy with how high my beach went up with this one. I shouldn't have poured that extra beach luster like I did. After I did it, I knew I shouldn't have did it. I had it where I wanted it, and I ended up saying, let's use it all, and I used it all, and it spread. So that was a lesson learned, but this is working out fine. So that's it. I'll wait 15 minutes. You've seen me put the white line on and the waves in the first video. So I'm gonna wait a little bit, 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna kind of like put a thicker, just single wave there. I'd really like to put some of those Mod Podge bubbles in there, but I don't know. I might save that for another clock. But there you go, guys. So let me know. I don't normally show us drilling the hole for the clock. If you really want to see how these are done, I can do a video of my husband doing it if you want. If you'd like to see that, please put it in the comments. If it's not in the comments, then I'm not going to bother having him video and him doing it. But there you go. So this will sit tomorrow. I'll cover it with a box. I'll take my tape off and then have him do the clock part, but I need to get some hands, so that might be a couple days. But I'll post a photo of this when it's done. I'll show you. This is the one that I made and sold already. So this is what it looks like with the dots and the hands, the 2.5-inch hands. So this is the one. Yeah, this sold. So that's why I'm making another one. And you can see, you're never, ever going to have the same piece twice. It's not possible. It's just, you can't, because resin is resin, and resin will do what resin wants to do. So thanks, guys, for following along with me. I hope I didn't ramble on too long for you. If I did, I apologize. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you would like to see more of what I'm doing, please hit the subscribe button. That's that little turtle in the bottom right hand corner. Just click that and you can subscribe. I want to thank you all, and you have a great rest of your week. Bye.